technical experts in this country, were there South Korean sources or Chinese sources that you were able to access that were particularly keen for your research purposes?
Well, I was very limited by my language impediment. You know, the Japanese, of course, they're obsessed with Korea because of their horrific historical relationship with them. And a lot of the work I really wanted to read, I could Google them up in Japanese, but I couldn't read Japanese either. I think a lot of the great scholarship going on is there. You know, like you read a South Korean scholar like Andrei Lankoff, who lived in the DPRK in the 70s. I mean, he's the leading opinionator, but he hasn't been there in 40 years. If there's exclusive knowledge about the inner workings of Pyongyang that our government knows, I don't think it's filtering down. I don't know where to find it. Maybe there is a secret cabal of people who know everything that's going on, that have all the intelligence, but they didn't seem to know that Kim Jong-il died for a pretty long time. And we don't know how he died. There's no autopsy. Did someone stab him? You know, when you go to Kim Susan, which is where the mausoleum where Kim Il-sung lies in state, they show you the letter that he was writing, extolling, you know, Juche's spirit as he had his heart attack. And there's no alternative to that story. And you know, I don't really believe that the great leader died while writing a pamphlet. Kevin, thanks. Yes.
First of all, congratulations. And second of all, I know you've been working on this.
Oh, I thought you were leaving. You stood up. I was like, oh,
no,
I see it. That's right.
Let someone say it. You've been working on this book for some time now,
yeah.
And you will promote it for a period of time, and then it will be the phase in your creative life where it'll be time to move on to something else.
That's right.
I'm curious to know what you will miss from the last 6 years of doing this work.
Wow, I do love researching. I do like to find as much as I can about the reality of something and then employ it or depart from it. You know, and my book is a work of imagination. You know, completely. What I miss about it, I can't seem to shut up about North Korea. Anything out of this phase will end. I kind of like. People come, they have a cocktail with me, and for like 45 minutes, they're like, wow, that's the greatest thing. But then I can't stop. And I'm like, have you seen Pulgasori? It's a communist Godzilla movie, and Kim Jong-il kidnapped. And I don't know. I think it's the most fascinating and mysterious place on earth because I believe it's the most difficult place that I can imagine to become fully human. You know, if it's dangerous to reveal yourself, when do you express your love, your doubts, your fears? In Barbara Demick's book, I can't recommend it enough, she tells the story of two young lovers, and they date for 13 years, and she documents their reunion in the South. One defects without telling the other, if you can imagine it. Of course, it would have been too dangerous to do that. And when they meet, you know, they meet at it's like a fast food place, you know, and they're like, I can't believe you didn't tell me you thought it was a lie the whole time. I thought it was a lie. But they couldn't even share that. When do you risk your heart? When do you expose it? My mind is still captivated by all the people there and imagining them and how they manage to be human in a place that makes it as difficult as possible. So I guess I haven't moved on. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Did you feel any ethical dilemmas with going to North Korea and also writing about it?
Yeah, like the money I used there would go to further the regime, or that I guess I was fighting so hard to find my way to that place to make my book as real as I could. At that point, I'd done a couple years of research, and I knew the places I wanted to see. I knew I had to see the Revolutionary Martyrs Cemetery. I knew the buildings I wanted to look at. And it was tricky when I got there. When I expressed too much interest in someplace, we went someplace else. And they got You know, there were a couple we would go to a big, gigantic monument to Kim Il-sung, and I would be like, hey, are there sewer caps on all the streets? I'd be like, where's the trash cans? You guys have trash cans? And, you know, I asked where all the handicapped people were. I learned right away not to ask questions that were embarrassing or suggested that I knew a lot.
Sorry, you didn't get an answer to that question.
I don't know. Do I have an ethical dilemma? I felt ethically a great sense of duty to my subject matter and to try to convey the power, the peril of the dilemma of the people there. I feel very lucky that I was able to go there under any circumstances, to get that verisimilitude, to smell the smells on the street, to see people stealing chestnuts from a tree in a public park, to bring that verisimilitude to my book. So maybe I should think about it more. Maybe I should have some dilemmas there.
Sorry, I meant, did you get an answer to the question of where the handicapped people, where the mailboxes?
If only I could have taken you through Pyongyang with my mind. There were people doing their jobs, you know, and because there were Americans there, the director of the KFA kept dropping in and minding the minders, so I knew they were on the hot seat, and I didn't want to get them in any trouble. And when I asked the question, why are all the women wearing the same shade of lipstick? Like, that really unnerved my minder. She was like, who are you? And, and also I had done a lot of research, so I knew a couple obscure things came out that suggested that I had a level of knowledge that was different than the average tourist. And
what was the stencil? What was your purpose supposedly? I mean, you didn't say I'm writing a novel. You know,
that's right. Well, I was the assistant of a guy who had an NGO there and was very well known. He was from the north, and he lost his parents in the war. He still had ties there, and everywhere they went, they embraced him with open arms. And I was just this sidekick that they didn't know what to do with. But I was asking the weird questions. Where was the fire station? I said, hey, where are the fire stations? What if there's a fire? And there was DHL delivers to Pyongyang, and it goes down to Kaesong City to the border every morning and loads up, and we would pass him, and this little yellow DHL truck would be zipping around Pyongyang. And finally I said, I've got to meet that guy, really, I have to meet him. Which I guess is so impossible that it was inconceivable. It really revealed me to be someone who was in trouble. But yes, Praveen.